Hello and welcome back to Jack Knives Reviews. I'm of course your host, Jack Knives. Today let's look at a movie that's pretty much unknown for the most part, and it just came out recently. The AMC Plus original movie, Tornado.
Remember my name.
In late 1700s Scotland, a young Japanese girl named Tornado traveled with her father, a former samurai Fujin, for his puppet show. A ruthless man simply known as Sugar Man and his gang have their gold stolen from a small boy Tornado was hiding, resulting in Fujin's death. Several years later, Tornado, traveling with a circus, wants her revenge on him and his gang, taking them out one by one with the samurai skills passed down from her father. When I first saw snippets of the trailers of this movie, I was kind of just surprised. I really hadn't heard anything about it. And then after it came out, I also still didn't hear anything about it. It just kind of came and went, like a weird gust of wind just went past. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I decided to sit down and watch the movie. For the most part, it's pretty much what I expected it to be. And that's kind of the problem with the movie itself. It's pretty much just how you expect it to be. It's no better, no less. I don't really know much of the budget or the things about behind the scenes of this movie, but it truly does feel like this was an attempt to make a possible cult movie, which I do feel it has the potential to be a cult movie. Not obviously to the level of major cult-like hits, but I feel like in the ballpark of a movie that you kind of just have on the shelf, like, hey, let me show you this fun, weird movie. There's elements of it that simultaneously feel almost Princess Bride-like. Princess Bride, the famous fantasy film, has elements of different story structures kind of spliced into it. It's a fantasy, yes, but it also has drama and romance and action and a lot of comedy. So it's not really just an exclusive fantasy movie, but it is a very heavy fantasy movie. This movie feels like it's trying to do that same thing with action instead. But the problem is, with action movies, just like with horror movies, you need to develop some sort of characters that will make the audience attached to them. So when the action happens, they're more invested in the effects of how it's going to affect the people, what's going to happen to them, the danger, and the overcoming of danger. But if you don't give that much as far as a performance, as far as a story structure, and as far as characters, it's mostly just visuals. And that seems like the big issue with this movie. It's style over substance, for the most part. Now, don't get me wrong, the actors do the best with what they have. But the problem is, if you're not given much, you have to fill in the blanks as an actor. Even the most well-seasoned actors have a problem doing that. First of all, with the main character, Tornado, being played by Koki, who is a relative new and unknown actor in the mainstream, or in general, that's a big gamble. To have your central focus of the movie being centered around an actor and a character who's very, very, I wouldn't say flat, but more, let's say, unseasoned, as it were. It's clearly trying to play off of this kind of folk tale, old westing, urban legend vibe, because the characters all have names like Tornado and Sugar Man and Teddy and Kitten and weird nicknames that are meant to, I don't know, it's meant to feel, is it weird to say, like an anime vibe? Nothing against anime, obviously. You can tell, I love anime. But with anime, you have pacing, story, character, and structure. But with an hour and a half of movie, you don't have that much time to develop character structure and story. We're invested in Tornado because we see what she went through, but we didn't see how it affected her in like her internalized version of herself and how she became how she was. It doesn't help that the character barely speaks, so you really have to do a lot of projection on this movie. And that does become a detriment. Now, I will say the action is pretty well choreographed and well structured as far as the pacing, and fight scenes are pretty good. They're good for what they are with the limited time. The writer and director of this movie, John McLean, he's not a filmmaker. He's mostly known for doing some music videos, some small movies that are kind of just centered around one area. So this is a whole new forte for him, and unfortunately, unlike the movie Caught Stealing, it didn't work because you swung for the fences and you kind of struck out. But again, there is some merit to the movie. Takahiro Hira, again, makes a great performance for the limited, very small amount of screen time he had, and adds this gravity and presence to him. And this movie is trying to be carried by Tim Roth. Tim Roth is doing his damnedest to make this movie work, but even his performance is kind of like a person trying to pick up sand. And it's like, it's just going through your fingers, bro. You're just getting your hands dirty and it's just seeping through. Unfortunately, I wanted to like this movie. I really did. And I think that maybe over time, it could have the potential of being a cult movie. It could have the potential of being a movie that down the road, people can appreciate over time. And it's not an awful movie. I've seen 100 times worse, and I've seen 1,000,000 times lazier of filmmaking. So there is something here. It's just the execution was terribly done. And unfortunately, because of that, I can't really recommend it. But who knows? Maybe over time, more people can appreciate it for what it is. I give Tornado 2.5 out of 5. Have you seen Tornado? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to stab that subscribe button and slice that like button, and I'll see you next time.